Has someone you love started showing little changes that you can't quite explain? Maybe their favorite meals don't excite them anymore. Maybe they seem more tired, quieter, or simply different in a way that's hard to put into words. At first, it feels like just another part of getting older, something normal, something expected. But what if those small changes are actually the body's way of gently signaling that it's entering its final season? Many people believe that death in old age happens suddenly, that one day everything is fine and the next day it isn't. The truth is often more gradual, more subtle. The body, in its wisdom, often begins to prepare months or even a year before life's final chapter. It whispers rather than shouts. And because those whispers can be so easy to overlook, families often miss them, only realizing later, with heavy hearts, that the clues were there all along. But here's the hope. Recognizing these signs early gives you something incredibly valuable. It gives you time to prepare emotionally, time to create memories that matter, time to make sure that your loved one's final stage of life is filled not with fear or confusion, but with dignity, comfort, and love. Understanding these changes isn't about dreading what's ahead, it's about meeting it with compassion. It's about shifting your focus from trying to fight against what can't be changed to making every remaining moment meaningful. And when you do, you'll find a sense of peace, knowing you were truly present during this sacred part of life's journey. In this video, we're going to walk through 5 of the most common signs that often appear a year before an elderly person passes away. Some may be things you've already noticed, but dismissed as just aging. Others might be changes you haven't connected to the bigger picture. But all of them can serve as gentle guides, helping you to understand, prepare, and care with a heart that's open and steady. So stay with us. These 5 signs may not only change the way you see what's happening, but also give you the tools to face it with clarity, compassion, and above all, love. Sign number 1. Significant weight loss. One of the earliest and most visible changes that can signal a loved one may be approaching the final stage of life is unintentional weight loss. Unlike the slow, gradual changes that come with normal aging, this kind of weight loss feels different. Clothes begin to hang loosely, belts need new notches, and meals that once brought joy no longer hold the same appeal. At first, it might seem minor, but often it's the body's way of revealing that something deeper is happening. As the body prepares for its natural transition, it begins to shift how it uses energy. Digestion slows, muscles break down more quickly, and nutrients aren't absorbed as effectively. Even if your loved one continues to eat, their body may no longer process food in the same way. The result is a gradual thinning, not just of appearance, but of strength and vitality. This loss of muscle can make everyday activities, walking, standing, or even holding objects, far more difficult than before. Changes in appetite also play a role. The senses of taste and smell may dull, making food less enjoyable. Hunger cues fade, and meals that once brought comfort might be left unfinished. This isn't about stubbornness or lack of interest. It's the body naturally signaling that it no longer needs or wants the same amount of fuel. What can help is focusing on comfort and ease. Small, soft, and nourishing foods, sips of fluids, and gentle encouragement go much further than heavy meals. Sitting together during meals, offering bites of something familiar, or simply sharing the moment can make eating feel less like a task and more like an act of love. If you notice significant weight loss in your loved one, see it not just as a change in appearance, but as the body's quiet message. Responding with patience and compassion can help you bring comfort during this delicate stage and ensure the time you have together is filled with care and connection. Sign number 2. Extreme fatigue and weakness. Another sign that often appears in the final year of life is a profound tiredness that no amount of rest seems to fix. This isn't the ordinary fatigue that comes after a busy day. It's a deep exhaustion that touches every part of daily life. Simple actions like standing up from a chair, brushing hair, or walking across the room can suddenly feel overwhelming. As the body begins to slow down, energy becomes limited. The heart may not pump as strongly, circulation weakens, and muscles don't receive the oxygen they once did. With less fuel to draw on, the body prioritizes what matters most, often leaving little energy for movement, conversation, or hobbies that were once enjoyed. Sleep takes up more hours of the day, naps grow longer, and staying awake for extended periods becomes more difficult. You may also notice moments of sudden energy changes, times when your loved one seems alert and talkative, followed by stretches where they feel drained and silent. These shifts can be confusing for families, but they're often the body's way of balancing what little strength remains. Beyond the physical toll, this exhaustion can affect the spirit. Someone who once prided themselves on independence may feel frustrated or embarrassed when they need help with things they used to do on their own. This can lead to withdrawing from activities, conversations, or social interactions, not because they no longer care, but because the effort feels too heavy. For those watching, it's easy to think maybe they just need to push themselves a little. But this stage isn't about willpower. It's about recognizing that the body is shifting its focus from doing to conserving. Pushing too hard can cause distress. Gentleness and patience go much further. What helps most is creating space for rest without guilt. Encourage small activities only if they bring joy, not because they should be done. Offer support in ways that preserve dignity, like helping quietly without drawing attention, or sitting nearby during tasks. Sometimes the greatest gift you can give is presence. Holding a hand, sharing quiet moments, or simply allowing them to rest without expectation. When fatigue becomes a constant companion, it's the body's way of saying it needs to slow down. Meeting that need with compassion rather than resistance allows your loved one to feel understood and supported during this tender stage. Sign 3. Increased cognitive confusion or withdrawal. Another change families often notice in the final year of life is a shift in the mind. A loved one who once carried on conversations with ease may begin losing their train of thought, repeating the same questions, or seeming unsure of where they are. These aren't the small lapses that come with ordinary aging. They are deeper, more disorienting moments that signal the brain is no longer working as steadily as before. The brain, like every other organ, depends on strong blood flow and oxygen. As circulation weakens, memory and clarity begin to fade. You may notice your loved one struggling to follow a discussion, forgetting familiar names, or appearing momentarily lost even in their own home. At times, they may seem alert and present. At other times, it feels like they are drifting into a world just beyond reach. Alongside forgetfulness, there can also be emotional withdrawal. A parent or grandparent who once lit up at family gatherings may now prefer quiet or choose to sit in silence. Crowded rooms or loud conversations may feel overwhelming, while solitude feels safer. This pulling back is not a lack of love. It is the mind conserving its limited energy, choosing peace over stimulation. Changes in mood may surface too. Some individuals become more irritable, others unusually calm or detached. Small frustrations can spark sudden anger, or long stretches of stillness may replace their usual expressions. These shifts can be unsettling for families who often feel as though they are losing the person they love before the final goodbye. During this time, the most powerful response is gentleness. Trying to force clarity, push conversation, or correct mistakes often leads to more distress. Instead, meeting them where they are, with patience, soft words, and simple presence can bring comfort even when understanding seems distant. A reassuring touch, a familiar song, or simply sitting together quietly can speak louder than explanations ever could. If you notice confusion or withdrawal growing in your loved one, see it as a sign of the mind slowing down, just as the body does. These moments can be painful, but they are also an invitation to create calm, to offer reassurance, and to cherish the connection that still exists beyond words. Sign number 4. Frequent infections and slow healing. As the body begins to wind down, one of the clearest signals is how it responds to illness and injury. You may notice that a loved one who once shook off a cold in a few days now struggles for weeks. Small cuts or bruises that should heal quickly seem to linger, and infections, whether in the lungs, urinary tract, or skin, begin to appear more often. These are not isolated events, they are quiet signs that the body's defenses are growing weaker. The immune system, which once stood strong against everyday germs, becomes less able to fight back. A simple sniffle may turn into a lingering cough. A low-grade fever may not resolve the way it once did. Even with treatment, recovery feels slower, less complete. The body no longer rallies in the same way because its energy is focused on preserving only the most essential functions. Another sign that can be overlooked is how wounds behave. A scratch that once closed in days may stay open. Bruises may appear more often and fade more slowly. For those who spend more time resting or in bed, pressure sores can develop, bringing both discomfort and risk of further infection. Circulation, which once carried nutrients and oxygen to support healing, is no longer as efficient, and the body simply can't repair itself as it used to. Perhaps the most subtle warning is that infections in older adults don't always look the way families expect. Instead of a high fever or obvious pain, the first sign may be a sudden dip in alertness, more confusion, more fatigue, or a loss of appetite. These quiet shifts can sometimes point to an infection before any physical symptom appears. For families, this stage can be deeply frustrating. The instinct is to turn to more treatments, more medications, hoping to restore the health that seems to be slipping away. But often, what helps most is not another round of antibiotics, but comfort, keeping the skin clean and moisturized, encouraging small sips of water, and gently supporting rest. When infections and slow healing become frequent, it's less about fighting each illness and more about focusing on quality of life. This is the time to step into the role of comfort giver, to provide warmth, reassurance, and a sense of safety even when the body can no longer bounce back. Sign number 5. Major changes in breathing or circulation. One of the most telling shifts in the final months of life is seen in the way a loved one breathes and how their circulation changes. These are often the signs families notice most strongly because they affect not only how a person feels, but also how they look. Breathing may become irregular. Instead of the steady rhythm you're used to, there might be shallow breaths followed by pauses, or a sudden burst of deeper breathing that comes and goes. At times your loved one may seem short of breath, even while sitting still, needing to stop mid-sentence or catch their breath after the smallest movement. Some experience a pattern known as chain Stokes, where breathing cycles between deep, rapid breaths and long, quiet pauses. To the family, these changes can feel unsettling, but for the person themselves, it's often not distressing. It is simply the body adjusting as energy wanes. Circulation shifts are also common. Blood flow naturally begins to prioritize the core, sending less to the hands, feet, and skin. You may notice their fingers or toes feel cool, or their complexion takes on a pale or bluish tint. Sometimes the skin appears mottled, patchy, or spotted as circulation slows further. These are not just physical changes, they are signs the body is conserving its strength for what matters most. Fluid buildup can add to breathing difficulties, creating a soft, rattling or gurgling sound. This can be concerning to hear, but often gentle adjustments like elevating the head, using extra pillows, or creating a cooler environment help bring more comfort. Small measures like a humidifier, sips of water, or prescribed oxygen can ease discomfort even if they don't restore normal breathing. For families, watching these changes can be overwhelming. The natural instinct is to worry, to want to fix what feels frightening. But often, these shifts are not crises to solve. They are part of the body's natural slowing down. The most important gift in these moments is presence. Sitting nearby, holding a hand, offering calm words, and creating an environment of peace. When breathing grows uneven and circulation weakens, it is a tender reminder that the journey is nearing its close. Meeting these changes with compassion rather than fear allows your loved one to feel safe, comforted, and never alone in their final stage.
As we close this discussion, let's take a moment to reflect on what these signs truly mean. Weight loss, fatigue, confusion, infections, and changes in breathing or circulation. Each of these shifts is the body's quiet way of preparing for its final stage. Alone, they may seem small, but together they often tell a tender story. Life is slowly letting go. For families, realizing this can be heavy. You may feel sadness, worry, or even guilt, wishing you had done more. But it's important to remember, these changes are not failures to prevent or problems to solve. They are part of the natural rhythm of life, and your role is not to fight against them, but to bring comfort and love as the journey nears its end. What matters most now is presence. More than medicines or meals, what truly eases this stage is knowing they are not alone. Sitting nearby, holding a hand, listening to a favorite song together. These simple acts carry more weight than words ever could. They are the reminders of love, dignity, and connection that remain when so much else is fading. Understanding these signs is not about fearing death. It's about embracing the time that is still here. It gives you the chance to prepare, to say the things that matter most, and to create peace for both your loved one and yourself. While the body grows weaker, the bond of love only grows stronger. And that is the legacy that endures. If you are walking this path now, know that you are not alone. Many others have faced these moments, and while the journey is never easy, it can still be filled with warmth, presence, and meaning. If this video has helped you in any way, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Share one thing you're taking with you today, or a memory of someone you've cared for. Your words might bring comfort to another viewer who needs it. And if you'd like more gentle guidance and insights like this, please consider subscribing to our channel and turning on the notification bell. Your support helps us continue creating videos that inform, support, and inspire families like yours. Thank you for being here with us today. May the time ahead be filled with tenderness, peace, and the quiet reassurance that love always remains.